Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So I shut off some of the lights because it's actually too bright in here. It makes the video a little bit too bright. But today we're actually going to be working on installing some of those silicone hoses that I purchased a long while ago. So in order to do that, I'm going to be flushing out the cooling system. So we're going to basically be putting in some radiator cleaner in there and running the car. Then we're going to be flushing that out with some distilled water. Then we're going to be putting in new coolant. So let's just get started. Alright guys, so this is all the stuff that we're going to be basically using. That's the new silicone hoses. This one's actually a rubber hose, but I have to replace my heater hose. Didn't come with it in the silicone hose pack. Some hose clamps, some radiator cleaner, distilled water, and some Type 2 Honda coolant. So this is all the materials that we're going to be using. Alright guys, so we're going to start off by flushing the radiator with some of this radiator cleaner by Liquid Moly. I'm only going to need half a bottle of this stuff because it's good for 10 liters and there's about 4.4 liters of radiator fluid in the radiator. So this stuff goes right into your radiator and then you run it for 10 to 30 minutes. So this stuff just goes and mixes in with your radiator fluid. So I'm just going to jack up the car real quick and drain some of the fluid out so that I can fit some of this fluid in. Alright, so we've probably gone over this several times, but you need to remove this cover so that you gain access to the drain plug on the radiator. So we're just going to get right to it. It's just all 10mm bolts and clips. Alright, so once the panel's out, this here is your drain plug. So all you have to do is just twist this off and it'll drain. So if you want it to drain just a little bit, do not undo your radiator cap. That way just a little bit of this will drip out. And then if you want all of it to be flushed out, then you undo your radiator cap and this will just start pouring. So this is what I'm talking about. You just undo this plug. And this is with the radiator cap already on. And it'll drain out slowly like that. That way you don't make a mess everywhere. So you just want enough so that it that we could put in the radiator cleaner. Alright, so I put that cleaner into the radiator already. So now I'm just gonna lower the car back onto the ground and open up my garage door and have the exhaust facing outwards because this is going to be fired up for about 10 to 30 minutes just to flush the whole system out. So in order for you to do that, make sure you turn your heat to the hottest setting and on full, like number 4 setting, and just let it run, basically. The radiator fan should kick on a few times and that's just circulating the system into your heater core and everything. So basically, we're just going to do that and let it run for 10 to 30 minutes. Alright, so it is on and I have some fans going to suck all that exhaust fumes out, to at least push the exhaust fumes out. So right now, I'm still waiting for the heater core to open up. So the thermostat has to open up before the fluid kind of circulates through the whole engine. So we're going to have to wait for that. Alright, so it's been about an hour actually. I've run this because I wanted to bleed out the air out of the system and all that kind of stuff. So it took a little bit of time. The fan came and kicked on many times, the radiator fan, so that's good. The heat was really hot inside the car, so all the fluid did end up circulating through the whole system. So now we're just going to jack it up and we're going to drain the radiator fluid. Alright, so we're just going to slow drain it right now. In order to fast drain it, all you have to do is open up the rad cap and it'll pour out. But I don't want to make a mess everywhere, so we're going to let this go for a while. After that, we're going to replace the hoses. And then we're gonna basically flush the system out with some distilled water. So while this is draining, I'm just gonna remove some of the stuff so that it's easier for me to access the hoses. So we're gonna remove this intake, we're gonna remove this intake arm. Hopefully we don't have to remove the strip bar, so I'm just gonna try and leave that. But all the hoses and everything are basically under here. So we're gonna just get to it right now. Alright, so with all this clear, and I think the fluid's all drained, it's just dripping right now, we can start removing a lot of these. So these will just basically, you need some pliers and just clamp on them and kind of take them off. As you notice here, see, this was leaking, I guess in this place. Probably not tight enough, but we're going to replace this hose, this hose. We're not doing all the hoses, just some of them, because I don't need to replace all of them. Most of them are pretty good. I really only wanted to replace this one and this heater one right here. But there's another one in back there that's actually also all very corroded. This one right here, you can't really see, but this one right here that goes also into the heater core, that is also really leaky over here. So we're gonna replace this one as well. So I think we're only gonna be doing maybe 4 hoses, because I don't need to replace all of them, but we will see. So this, as you can see, the inside of this hose is really, really bad. So this definitely needed to be replaced. Also, if you look at this is really gummed up and dirty. So you want to clean this off first. So basically get a rag and we're going to wipe it up with maybe some brake cleaner or something. Make sure that this surface is nice and clean. If we have to, we could use a wire brush or some sort of abrasive to kind of get rid of all this stuff, but I think we're okay with just some brake cleaner. Alright, so another really important thing is to match up your hose. So this basically, it looks like it will fit properly. It's got the nice bends to it. So this is the hose for this. Alright, so this is one of the heater core hoses. In order to remove this, you're gonna have to basically cut it out. You cannot like basically use pliers on there and twist it out, because the heater core is very, very fragile. The valve will just bend. I wasn't able to film this because it's really difficult to film and do this. So in order for you to basically remove it, you use a razor blade and you cut on an angle. You don't want to cut straight because that's going to damage the heater core valve. You want to cut on an angle, and that still gets through to the hose. As you can see, this is all cut on an angle. But that's just a quick tip so that you don't damage your heater core valve. If you bend it, you're kind of done for. But you know, it's not end of the world. There is tricks to fix it. Alright, so that over there is the heater core. Be very careful because these are really easy to bend. I did already bend this one out of shape. Usually what people say is if you bend that one out of shape, you're going to have to replace the heater core. But I'll show you guys a trick on how to round this back off. I think this will work. I think I've done it in the past in my previous ES where I messed up. But you just get a socket and you shove it in there and kind of go in circles, and it will make the valve circular again. So you find the socket that will fit. Right now this is an 11mm socket. Sorry for the little blurriness. So you get it in there, and as you can see, you just twist around and around and around, and it will cause this to go back into a circular form, and you're good. It will seal up again. Just keep going bigger and bigger until you get it perfectly circle. So right now this is pretty good, I would say. This 11mm socket, it fits right in there, and you just wiggle it around. And this widens the hose a little bit too, so that it will seal up on the new stuff. But you don't want to mess with it too much because you might crack it and then you're kind of screwed. But that's how you would fix it temporarily, I guess. If this doesn't work, then you do have to replace your heater core. All right, check it out. So those 2 heater core ones I've replaced. This extends all the way up to here. I replaced this hose right here, which is another heater hose, and then the front 2 big hoses as well. So it was a lot of work. The heater core ones are actually a lot more difficult than I thought. Now it's basically time to fill it up with water and flush it out, and then we'll drain it again. Alright, so it's all filled up with distilled water, so we're just going to bleed out the system and circulate the distilled water, and then we're going to drain it. Alright, so the last final step is to drain out the distilled water, and then we're going to fill it up with coolant. Alright, so it's topped up with Type 2 coolant. We're just going to fire it up and bleed out the system now. Oh, and we got to fill up our reservoir bottle to max as well. There we go, filled up to the max line for the Type 2 coolant. heat up the system, you really have to wait for this to like get up to operating temperature. So it has to be normal operating temperature with the fan actually on. Then you watch for all the bubbles that come out of here. If the fan comes on about 2 times and all the bubbles are bleeded out of the system, that's when it's ready. Alright, the fans come on twice, and as you notice, the fluid level has gone down a lot. You can see where the line was. A lot of contaminants and crap came up too. So we're going to plug it now, and we're going to just cap it off. And what you want to do now is basically have the rad cap on and have the system pressurized and have the fan turn on one more time so that you know everything is circulating properly and it pressurizes. So I'm just going to leave the car running, and we're going to get back to it as soon as this is done. Alright, so there's no more leaks or no leaks at all that I've noticed with the flashlight. All the hoses that I've replaced and all the existing hoses are all good. Now go inside and check the car to make sure you have heat. Yeah, my engine check light came on. That's something to do with the O2 sensor. I've checked the code already. It's code 43, I think. So the heat is really hot. Like you can feel it burning your hand. Yeah, it's pretty toasty in here. So we're good. This is it. It's all bleeded. I mean, it's all bled, and the car is in good shape. And you can see that's normal operating temperature. I don't know why it's a little lower than half. Usually that's fine. My car's usually running like that. All right, so the car's shut off now. We're gonna wait until this cools down, and then we're gonna check our fluid level here and top it up if it needs to be topped up. But I think it should be okay. It's at the max line already, so it might suck in more fluid when it cools down. But top it up if we have to. But that's basically it. We're basically done. Alright, there you go guys. We're done. We replaced the rubber hoses with some silicone hoses. So we did like the heater core area and the radiator. We have also flushed out the whole system with some radiator cleaner and distilled water. And we've replaced the coolant with some Type 2 Honda coolant. So that's basically it for this service. I'm going to be monitoring the car for the next little while for the hoses that I've changed to ensure that there isn't any more leaks. If there is, I'll probably just tighten down the clamp a little bit more, but I think there wouldn't be. These clamps are pretty good and they're tight on there. But that's basically it for this video, guys. I hope this helps you guys out. If you haven't already, please comment, like, and subscribe, and share my videos. As always, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.